Hello everybody and good morning. Welcome back to my channel, and it is of course only me again. Thank you so much for tuning back in for another round of metal detecting. And today guys, we are in a very special permission. So many years ago I got a new permission and I went into the field just next door. Now that's a pasture field. However, all of the other fields get ploughed every other year. Now, if you remember, whilst I was in that pasture field, I walked over into this field because I could see some rocks. Upon investigating those rocks, I found that it was actually once a well. And then I found that there was also another well in this field as well. Speaking to the landowner, he told me that this particular field was where the whole village just down over there used to come and get their water many years ago. Now, I have never had the opportunity to come and detect this field because it's either been seeded and therefore I can't get on it, or it's been in rough plough or very high stubble. But I drove past it the other day and looked out the window and I was absolutely gobsmacked to see that it was in stubble. And it's probably some of the shortest stubble I have ever seen as well. So we have got a prime opportunity today to actually see what is going to be found in this well field once and for all. So of course, as always, if you want to see what comes out on this video, then continue to watch. And if you like metal detecting videos and content like this in general, then you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button below because I will be putting out plenty more videos for you to watch in the future as well. And of course, if you like my channel and you like the content, do drop me a thumbs up because that means an awful lot. But that is the talking out of the way today. Hopefully we aren't going to get any rain, and hopefully I'm going to have some amazing things to show you as well. But let's go and do some metal detecting. I will see all of you on the very first hole. Well, welcome to one of the wells in this field. Now this well was actually the well that I filmed in my video probably about 3 to 4 years ago. Now I've spoken to the landowner and I've done plenty of research on this site, but I haven't been able to date this well. What I do know is that if I go back to old maps as far as I can possibly go, I think the earliest map I could find was 1841. This well was still in this field. And don't forget, it's not the only well in this field. There is another one on the other side of the field, just near the road as well. So I don't really know how old they are. I mean, they could be medieval, but they could also be post-medieval. But it's obviously tapping into some type of underground water source. But unfortunately, I did put my head down there a moment ago, and there's not much water running through them these days. So wherever that water once was has probably now been redirected, or that they've just filled in the well with rocks and things just to stop people from falling down there. Now I'm not too worried about being close to this one because of course the field gets ploughed. And as you can see, the tractors run pretty much right next to it for a metre. So they're a lot heavier than I am. So I'm not too worried about it sort of collapsing or anything like that. But I am hoping there's going to be some great finds because of course where there was once a well, there would have had to have been a lot of people digging it, and of course people going there to get their fresh water. So hopefully we are going to get some nice bits, but let's push on, do some metal detecting, and hopefully I've got something good to show you. So it looks like we've got our very first target here in the well field. And look, it's just behind the well here, probably about 30 feet away. So yeah, it sounds quite good, but it does have a little bit of a scratchy tone to it, depending on which sort of angle you go from. So I'm not looking for too much from this target, but it's coming up at about 70 to 71, but it does have this random little irony grunt to it. So I think this is going to be a piece of junk, but I'm more than happy to dig it out close to this well and see what we get. Okay, so it's come out, which is excellent, and it is saying that it's in this clump here, which is good. Now I wonder if this is going to be a shotgun cartridge, because it's got the right sort of tone. It's got the nice tone where of course the brass or copper cartridge would be, and the irony tone, but no. It's not a shotgun cartridge. This is, oh no, it's a squeezy tube. That's not good. Oh, yep, that's definitely the target. So it's an aluminium squeezy tube, which is why it wasn't awfully clean. So hopefully we're not going to be inundated with these things all day. But yeah, that's what that one is. Let's move on to the second target. Well, we finally got our second target. So I've had to walk up to the middle of the field and back down for this one. So it's been a bit of a trek. But again, look, we're not very far away from the well. So it's quite obvious that that was a sort of focal point of this field where people were going to get their water and to maybe hang out and have a bit of a chat. But I think we've just gone and found a coin. And yeah, it's quite an interesting one. I mean, it's quite thick. So it could obviously be, you know, a Georgian coin or something like that, possibly a penny or halfpenny. But I'm really looking for coins and things like that which can possibly date when this particular field was being used, and especially when these wells were being used as well, because it's only really through the finds that I'm going to get a good grasp as to when they were dug and when the people from the village were coming up here to obviously get their water for drinking and cooking. So I don't think I'm going to get much of a date off of this one. It is really thick. I mean, if it wasn't so perfectly round, you would be hard pressed to think that this may be a Roman coin or something like that. But no, I'm pretty sure it is Georgian, this one, unfortunately. But it could be 1700, something like that, which is really, really interesting. So yeah, our second target, a nice coin next to the well here. What else are we going to find today? Well, I am excited to find out, and hopefully you are as well. So let's keep pushing on and find those interesting bits. Okay, so we have another target down here. Now this is coming up at about 70, 72. It does drop down a little bit, so let's try it from a different angle. Yeah, it's definitely still there, isn't it? Definitely. And then here, nice and repeatable. Well, I think this one's going to be worth a dig for sure. So let's just pinpoint it, find out where it is, and then dig it out. Hopefully, we're not going to have another moo tube or something like that. Hopefully it's going to be something nice and old. Okay, so let's just break it up and stick it in front of the coil. Yep, so it says it's in this part here. Now it's disappeared, and oh, look at that. It's actually just poking out of the side now of this little clod. So what is that? It looks like it's sort of folded over to a point as well, but it's very decorative, very, very decorative. I'm just not really too sure. I'm not really too sure what that is, but it looks old. Is it a pendant? Maybe it's a pendant. You could imagine the rope going through there, and then this sort of hanging off of a chain or a piece of string or something like that. Maybe it is a pendant. I'm not really too sure, to be honest, but it's made of copper alloy, and it's certainly quite old as well. So yeah, how interesting. Not bad at all. Gone from a coin to a really nice looking little artifact. I'll have to give this one a clean up later, and of course I'll pop it on the video for you all to see. But let's go and see what else this amazing field has to offer. There we go. So we've got another target, and guess what? We are once again about 30 to 35 feet away from the well. So a lot of the targets do seem to be coming up from around that well, and this one, it's not the best sounding target. And if I'm honest, none of the targets in this field sound that great. It's about 71 to 72, so the last time we had one of these that sounded a bit iffy, it turned out to be a squeezy tube. But you never know, this one might be better, so let's give it a dig. So I think I've worked out why the targets aren't sounding very good. Even the coin that we had a little while ago, it was a solid target, but it just didn't sound very nice. And unfortunately, it looks like we're dealing with quite sort of hot ground. And when I say hot ground, I mean lots of coke everywhere. Just walked up to the top of the field a second ago. Here we go. And yeah, oh my God, it just sounded like there was really good coins everywhere. Ah, got it. Well, it's not a squeezy tube, but unfortunately it is a piece of lead. But it was relatively deep, which means, of course, if it's a coin or something like that, then we would still find it. But just lead, let's move on. Okay, so we have another little target down here. And once again, we are at the bottom of the field near the well, which is probably about 50 feet behind me now, because I've been walking up and down the field constantly trying to find some nice targets, but this one's quite a sweet little one. Now, because this ground is quite hot, what I've had to do is just sort of run through a few programs and just see which one sort of picks these targets out a little bit better in and amongst all of this coke. And I've actually gone back to the Forager program, which is the 2.0, available on the channel if you haven't got it on your remote and you want to use it. But this one just seems to absolutely ping this out. And if I go back to the Legacy program, which I've been using all morning, and I've found the bits that I found, it's still nice, but there's a little subtle difference. Have a listen. You see how it turns it a little bit more dirtier, and that's because the Legacy program is far more sensitive, far more open, and it's giving you a lot more audio information with regards to the ground. So it's telling you that, yeah, there's a target there, but I'm also going to let you hear all of that hot ground as well. And obviously there's a slightly different tone break on there. But I also did run through a couple of other programs just to see if any of the others could pick it up. Now, this is the diving program. It's a factory program on the remote control, used by a lot of people. Now have a listen. It's gone. It's completely gone. Whatever is in the ground here has now completely vanished. You would walk over that if you were using the diving program. But yeah, so I was quite interested when I run through that one. And let's go down through to Park. So Park's getting it, but it's not consistent. It's for some reason just picking it up and then missing it. So that was a bit of an eye-opener as well. And then I went to, where were we? I went into the beach program. Here we go. Again, absolutely nothing on the factory program for beach. A little bit of a target there, but yeah, I was quite surprised when I started running through the program. So let's just go back to the Forager program and have a little listen. Look at that. Even above the ground a little bit. It's a much more consistent target for sure. So yeah, every program has its kind of perks and its tweaks, but for some reason today the Forager in this type of field is absolutely killing it. So let's dig this out, find out what we've got, and yeah, hopefully it's something good. Okay, so it has come out of the ground. Let's get the pinpointer. Hopefully it's something good. So you can tell how minimalised this ground is by look. You put your pinpointer in there, just starts going off straight away. So you've got to bring it out, retune it, put it in, retune it, and then hopefully you're going to find something. Oh wow. No way. It's something good. Yeah, this is definitely quite an interesting little find, which I'm super happy about, because otherwise if all those other programs weren't picking it up and Forager and Legacy were picking it up, then I would have been really worried, because the other programs would have been saying don't dig it, it's rubbish, and then my programs are going no, dig it. And look at that. What even is that? Is that like a little dress hook or something like that? Oh, certainly looks like one. Certainly looks like a little dress hook. Could potentially be medieval, or most certainly post-medieval into the sort of Tudor era. It's got some sort of design on the front of it for sure, but I can't really see what it is, and I don't have any water with me today, unfortunately, because on my travels, the water that I had in my finds pouch fell out, and I have absolutely no idea where it's gone, and unfortunately I don't have any more to clean it up with, but it looks like it's got a cross on the front of it. Can you see that there? Wow, if this is a tiny little sort of dress pin or dress fastener, then I will be chuffed with that, because these are really cool. And as I say, these can date back to the medieval period, but most commonly used in the Tudor period, and it was a way to basically sort of tie your clothes together. Would have had sort of like a loop or something through here. Some of them had a little hook on the bottom, and yeah, sort of a predecessor to the modern suspenders that gentlemen wear to keep their trousers up around their waist. But wow, okay, so if I can find out any information about this, I will pop it on the video, and of course you will all get to see it nice and clean as well. But that's another great little find in this well field. Let's go and find some more. Hopefully we can find some coins too. So sometimes I say to people when they're metal detecting that if you listen carefully, the XP Teus 2 just absolutely speaks to you. And I'm pretty sure I can hear coins. Now have a listen to this one, because to me, this one is basically telling me it's a coin. But have a listen, see what you think. Can you hear that? You hear how it's just consistent. There's no lower end grunt. And it's weird, it just sounds round. It's quite an odd sound, but if you tune your ears to it, 9 times out of 10, you're always going to be right. So it's coming up as 84 to 85 as well. So another good indicator that this could potentially be a coin. But this is either going to prove me wrong or it's going to prove me right. So let's dig it out. So it's basically come out in the very first clump of mud. So, oh, oh, so it's not a coin. It's not a coin, but it is a little pulley, and it's round. So kind of could have been a coin for sure, but yeah, it's not. It's just an old pulley for some string. Not really sure what that would have been used for in a field, but maybe it was just dumped here when nobody needed it. But hey, I knew it would be round and I knew it would be copper alloy, but unfortunately it's not what I thought it would be. So welcome to well number 2 in this massive field. Now the other well is probably about 200 feet on the other side of this massive stubble field. But this one here is the one that's closest to the entrance and closest to the road as well. And this one isn't as good a condition as the other one, to be honest with you. and I'm still trying to work out why there might be two wells in this field. It doesn't really make sense. The only thing I can come up with was that one of them maybe fell out of use and into disrepair. So then they had to build another one where the water was also flowing quite rapidly under the ground, hence why the other one on the other side of the field could be there, and why it's in much better condition as well. So the other one has a cap around the top, and there's actually points in the side of it where you can see that there was once a hinge for some type of gate for you to access the actual well chamber itself. Now this one, the entire top part has disappeared, and to stop people from falling in and tractors driving into it, the farmer has put this massive, great big slab of stone and wedged it into the top of the well shaft here. Now, looking into the well, doesn't really go down that deep. However, it looks relatively obvious that it's been filled up with stones and rubble at some stage as well. So again, just to try and stop things from falling down there, they've just filled it with rubble and stones to make it a lot easier for people trying to get back out. Now, what's really interesting about this particular well is because you can see right into it, so it's much better than the other one, you can actually see how it was designed. And really interestingly, going down around the side of the well, they've incorporated steps because they've left quite large stones with some of the faces sticking out at certain parts going down and around the well. And now that is really, really interesting, because it does mean, of course, that at some stage somebody would have had to have got down there, and that was the only way they were getting down there, was standing on those stones and essentially traversing down that well shaft. So I'm quite glad that wasn't me. So fair play to the person that actually had to go down there, because pretty sure it would have gone down about 20 foot or so at one stage in history. So yeah, it's another part of this field's history, and this one's got some really nice little red poppies as well growing next to it, which makes it a really, really nice little feature. But we're not getting too much finds so far, so we've got to push on and hopefully get something else. I've come over to this side of the field, so let's just see what we can get. We've got a few hours left yet, and hopefully this well field will produce something good. Well, this is quite an interesting little find. Again, not too far away from that second well, and we are producing another little interesting one. But this looks like it's made of lead, but it's an odd little shape because it's in a sort of conical type shape, flat on the bottom, got a little point to it. I've got no idea, honestly. Sometimes lead things, you're just never ever going to find out what they are. They could have been used for so many varied, weird and wonderful things, but I'd like to think this was maybe like a little game counter or something like that. But it's a lovely little sort of 60 to 61 signal. Yeah, that's not too bad, not too bad at all. But we're going to have to work a bit harder if we want to find something even better, so let's do that. Well, we are well into the mid-afternoon now, and I have just been walking up and down this field just trying to search for some goodies, hopefully to obviously show you on the camera, but really it hasn't actually been that productive. So it just goes to show it's a field that I've probably waited about 4 to 5 years to get into, and I've driven past it countless times, looked over the hedge and gone, oh, I just can't wait to get back in there when it's cut. And of course you get the opportunity to come in, and lo and behold, it doesn't produce many good finds. But it's been a really enjoyable day out, and I have just actually had a relatively good find, although it's lead, but it is a bag seal, and wow, this one has got some amazing detail on it as well. So it looks like it's got some kind of fruit or something on the side, and it's got the name Jrade on the front there, which is Jrade. And on the back is also some other writing as well, but unfortunately Can't really make out what that says, but I think I can make out London on there as well. So this is definitely a little seed or bag seal for sure. And yeah, it's probably quite a nice find. It's just that it's made of lead and it's probably not that old. I would suggest that this maybe could be turn of the century or something like that, just because of the condition of it. But it is a nice historical find in the sense that we now know when this particular field was being farmed, and we now know where they're getting their seed from as well. So not too bad, not too bad. I would have preferred a nice old coin, but some days just are not like that. So a bag seal, I'll take that. That's not bad at all. I'm going to go on for another hour or so, and if I get anything else in here, I will of course show you on the camera. So just got to get my head down, just get stuck into it. I'm still working around the well, but I've moved over towards the road now. So I seem to be getting a few more targets over there, and hopefully guys, wish me luck, I find something good. So we are now at the end of this fantastic day's metal detecting, and yes, unfortunately it wasn't the fruitful haven that I was hoping it was going to be, but I am really happy with the small bits that I have found in here, and of course I've got to experience and explore these wells in a little bit more detail as well. The little dress hook was really interesting, and that little pendant type thing, no idea what it is, but hopefully by the time this video comes out, you guys will know just as much as me as well. So thank you very much for watching this one. It really does mean the absolute world to me, and if you like videos like this, then do consider subscribing, because I'm going to be uploading regularly just for you. And of course, if you've liked the video today, do drop me a thumbs up, because that means a lot. But until the next time, I will see all of you on the very next dig.